Welcome to our discussion about what is nothing. Soon you can look at their B points and find out the answer.
Oh,
So from there,
that
we're
was
gonna
not nice.
kind of funny.
I love the stuff people like
Today we're gonna finish our story, The Man from the South. And remind you, we have a quiz tomorrow, which we'll talk about in a moment. Did I have anyone with book fair money today that wants to skedaddle? Show me your fat cash, and I can let you take
I
off.
forgot all about that.
Show me your fat
Yeah,
cash.
you go
and
get your
take
December
off.
return credit.
You guys are lucky because we're in first period, which means if you bring money tomorrow, I can send you. Because
Oh,
it
let me
closes
go,
after
let me
third
go.
period.
Let me go. Let me go.
Okay.
Yay!
Take off with your money.
Oh,
Come
I
here.
got it.
Oh,
It
it
was
says
a 20, that was a
something.
10.
Absolute
Yeah, I hate it.
darkness with the entire universe within the mist.
I'm
What?
assuming being blind is the same thing as if you just close your eyes.
No, it's not because you don't see anything. It's not black, it's not white, it's not purple, it's not red, it's literally nothing. It's like the air. Like you see how the air like doesn't have a color? That's what you're seeing.
You know, we're recording this conversation right now.
I don't even care.
These
I'm
kids
just
at
saying
home
you
have
don't see
no
black.
idea what you're talking about. I'm in the middle of the conversation and I have no idea what we're talking about.
We're talking about nothing.
I know, it's just like you're
Talking about how
Oh,
people see it.
colorless and transparent. That's like wait, what?
So, your assessment redo is going to be due tomorrow night. I will remind you one more time again tomorrow if you want to. Those of you who just took it yesterday, I'll grade it today during second period, and then if you want to fix it after that, you can. And so I can get a chance to go do that. Let's see, in this class we're good, no one to yell at. And again, reminding you, assessment fixie thingy you have through tomorrow night. I will be grading them tomorrow or Saturday morning because I'm a teacher and obviously I have no life. Again, questions for tomorrow. I tried to find fairly
read
short-ish
that.
story. The zoo one. Again, review guide if you want. Tomorrow is our last grade for this 9 weeks, just so you are aware. So it'll go on there. It's the last thing we have to do to hopefully try and bump your grade up. Coolio?
If I fail the quiz, would that what would my grade then be?
Only one way to find out. That's how science works. You're going to have two kids.
Science makes
One's a control group, one's a
Oh.
variable group.
Okay, we don't need this.
Variable.
This is making me mad.
It's
I think
experimental.
it's experimental.
See, look at those kids learning. I don't even teach science and they already figured stuff out. What's up, Krista?
Can I say one more thing?
About nothingness?
Yeah, so basically what it's like people who are blind from birth, they said that like they don't really there's not a scientific answer because since they don't know like what colors look
They
like.
can't compare it to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you're literally just seeing nothing.
Just like how some kids in this class couldn't compare their grade to like an A.
I could. I have an A minus.
I have an A minus.
Yeah.
Well, now I have a B because you haven't
I
had
haven't.
my quiz yet. So.
Totally my fault. So, we have our first Charger Challenge coming up.
What is that?
That's why I'm going to explain it to you. Our Charger Challenge is going to be our battle competition between the Stars, Heroes, and Globetrotters.
Yay.
Where over the years the Stars and Globetrotters have been under the false impression that they're better than us, so we have come up with an actual battle to see which team is best. Each team gets to pick 15 kids to represent them in the battle. I have my list of 15 kids because we have invitations going out to kids in this class here in just a moment. You get an automatic invite. Well, one, it happens every 9 weeks. So into the first 9 weeks, into second, into third, into fourth 9 weeks.
Okay.
Since we are now finishing the first 9 weeks as of tomorrow, then we are going to have our first battle coming up next week. It'll be Tuesday, and it goes after school until 5:45. You always get an automatic invite if you're student of the month. You automatically get an invite because you're one of our bestest people. If you are student of the week, you get an automatic invite because you're one of our bester people. Then if you have highest B points, I also give you an invite. And if you have highest grade, you also get an invite. And then we throw out some random invites because we just have to make sure everyone gets a fair chance as we put them out there. Now, those are the first kids who get an invitation. They get a chance to turn in and lock in their 15 spots, but it opens up to anybody starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So even if you are not one of the kids who gets the invitation today, because some kids can't do it because they're on like the football team and they have to go do football, which means they can't necessarily do this, which leaves an open spot, then it opens up to any kid who has at least a C- or higher in English, social studies, and science. because we only care about the heroes classes. Your other classes are. And if you have a C- in those classes, you are welcome to lock in. What's going to happen is there's going to be a number of different events that go into it. We try to have one for athletic kids and one's for smarty kids. We have like a puzzle solving contest. We also have a dodgeball part of it. We have a thing where you're going to do like a hula hoop race, which is not actual hula hooping, but you have to like jump through a hula hoop with other people on your team. We have one that deals more with hand-eye coordination. You have to like throw a ball and bounce it, and the other person has to try and catch it. There's a trivia competition, but the trivia is not like boring school stuff. It's like Taylor Swift and Stranger Things trivia, and so it's going to be trivia along those lines. If you win, you get an automatic 10 B points for being on the winning team. You also get your name permanently added up into the hallway, which is on the way out to the buses. That's what that is every kid who has ever won, you get your name added up on there. You also get a limited edition button that only 60 kids get per year, and so you get one of those limited edition buttons, and you get to flex on the other teams, which is sometimes the bestest thing of all. Plus, you also get to be the background to my laptop every time you see a little screen turn on. It is a Tina.
Let me see.
And so, that kid right there.
That's my sister in 7th grade.
It was back when she was in 7th grade. And then, so you eventually get to, I will take your picture. These are the buttons that you get to collect. And then your picture becomes my little background on my computer. So then we get to brag about how awesome you are. So some of the events, this would be the hula hoop race where it has like a hula hoop that has to go around everybody and you pass it from person to person. This would be the trivia part of it where you have to then answer questions in front of everybody. And then that's going to be all of our different winning people. So I get to take a picture of you and post it to social media and brag about you. You get to have your name out there in the hallway. Also, this giant trophy will have your face on it, and it gets to be sitting in Mrs. Butz's room for all the kids to see your face and the fact that you are better than them.
What is it? I don't know.
And so it gives you an idea. Coolio!
So is it like everybody gets a, like, you know, student of the week, student of the month, and that stuff? Is everybody on the same team, or is there like individual things?
All the heroes are on the same heroes team.
Yeah, I know, but like in the competitions, is it just like I'm versus somebody else, or is it as a team?
It'll be like you and 3 other heroes versus 4 stars and versus 4 Globetrotters.
Wait, what is
In a
this?
group of 4, you guys will compete against each other in like the ball thing. Does that make sense? Okay.
You just do like trivia and athletic games.
I actually am so bad at trivia.
So-
I want to. Me too.
Those of you who have an invitation because you are, again, student of the week, month, highest B points, highest grade, these, you get a chance to lock in your spot by the end of the day today. Salia.
So clearly,
That kid's dead. Coolio.
Yay!
Dylan.
Dylan.
So, if you need to contact parents and ask them if you are free, you automatically get a chance to lock in your spot by, you cannot do it until 4 o'clock today. So at 4 o'clock it opens up because that way it gives my 7th period a chance to also get a chance to do it too. But at 4 o'clock you can either come tell me in person, you can either send me an email or something along those lines, or you send me a message, then I will lock you in and you can be good to go. If you want to do it and you didn't get an invite, starting tomorrow at 9 a.m., you are more than welcome to come and lock in your spot. And I will say, hey, we have 5 spots available. You lock in your spot and then you are good to go. Just make sure that you are good from there. Oh, if you got invitation and you know that you don't want to do it and you're like, this is dumb, I don't want to do it, you can give your invitation to somebody else. And then they get it, but then you don't ever get a chance to do it again. So that's one of those things where if you don't want to, you can give it to someone else and they can take your spot for you. Coolio!
Can I text my mom?
Yes, you can text your mom. I was gonna
Me
guess
too.
that.
I need to text my mommy.
Wait, Dylan, are we gonna do it?
I want to do trivia, but I don't even know what we're doing.
It's about Taylor Swift.
Oh.
And then athletic games play dodgeball.
Not all of them, but there is a category that is about Taylor Swift.
What's the questions like?
Wait, Dylan.
Find out when kids do it. I can't tell you all the questions.
Text your mom right now.
There. Let's see. Then back to our story. How far did we get with you guys yesterday? I think, did we get to what the Betty thing was?
Yeah, we got to the where
We did get
Who's Betty?
not Betty, the bet.
I thought you said Betty.
Not Betty.
we're on the second.
4 p.m.
So no, you want to end by 4 p.m. You cannot tell me until 4
You
p.m.
tell me what you're gonna do.
That's when it unlocks for kids to lock in their spots.
Well, I think I
That
did
way all of my classes get an equal chance to contact parents. Otherwise, it's unfair to my 7th period if all my 1st period kids are like, I got it, and they lock in their spots. So I'm trying to be fair. So I think we taught suspense yesterday, and then I had to stop right after we found out what the bet was, and then we got all angry about learning what suspense was. Let's see, what do we know so far in story? What's our point of view?
First.
Do we know the main character's name?
Nope.
No, he's just telling us. Where is it taking place? Jamaica. Where in Jamaica?
Hotel.
At a hotel. Ooh. Specifically, where at the hotel?
In the
In
pool.
the pool area works for me. And then we've met one other strange character, old dude. And then we've technically met 2 other characters.
The girl and the one Navy SEAL or whatever. The Navy guy.
Navy guy works for me.
The cadet.
And then we got 2 azaleas,
Oh, those are so pretty.
coconuts, and we talk about the naval cadets.
Oh my goodness, I had coconut ice cream and it was so good.
Ew, you're disgusting.
No,
Old
but
man
it was like,
there.
oh,
And then,
not like
Oh.
actually coconut.
what weird thing did he do to his shoes?
He put holes in them.
Not a thing you should probably go home and do to your parents' shoes. And be like, Dad, I'm gonna help, and just start stabbing his
I'll
shoes.
do it.
Here's where Jamaica comes in. There's our old guy, and then and what does naval cadet kid pull out of his towel?
A lighter.
And
And cigars. Cigarettes.
I am proud of you not knowing the difference. That would be much better if you could actually name the brand. You're like, I know those. That would probably be scary. But the fact that's where he pulls out the cigarettes. What does the old man smoke instead?
Cigars.
There you go. And then that's where the cigar comes in with the crocodile case. Then he's fascinated by what thing the kid owns.
A lighter.
And that's where the lighter comes in. And the kid brags about, what does he brag about?
It doesn't go
It
out.
doesn't go out.
Nicely done. And again.
And then the old man makes a bet.
And so the old man is fascinated by it. And so what does he offer in the bet?
He makes
Cadillac.
There you go. And we had just stopped when we found out what he wants the kid to offer up because the kid doesn't have a car.
Finger.
Specifically, which finger?
Pinky.
His pinky finger. And how does he, so far all we know is, what does he mean when he says he wants the kid to offer up his pinky?
He wants to chop off his pinky.
Yeah, there we go. So, before I get to the fun stuff today, because we're going to get to suspense, any guesses as to what's going to happen? Oh, and before you begin, I did cut off the end of the story. Again, it's here before you get too excited if you try to read ahead. So, guesses as to what's going to happen? Dylan?
The boy outsmarts the little man. The little man smarts the white hat guy, and he takes the Cadillac and steals it and drives away.
Oh,
Hey.
so thievery.
Yes.
Okay, you seem so excited about that. Coolio.
Didn't the old man say like never mind, hotel room?
Yes.
He's gonna kidnap him.
He says, so that way you can't complain about the wind. Let's go up to my hotel room.
There's something like in this
That's
hotel room
sketchy.
to make
I
it
know.
go out, and then like the lighter go out before it hits like the 10 thingy mark, and then he has to chop off the guy's finger.
So you're saying he has something planned in his room to go against the lighter.
Yes.
But did he know the kid was going to have a lighter? You think maybe the guy's been hunting this kid, just watching him light cigarettes for like the last couple of days?
Well, maybe he knew it because like maybe he was like watching outside his window and like saying
I hate creepy people.
They're the worst.
They're so
Always like
bad.
sitting outside your windows and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
this guy in Kroger.
So, home children, we're on back side of paper, very beginning of that top side, where they just said jumping jeepers, which, by the way, is old person speak for what the sigma. And he goes, that's a crazy bet.
That's crazy bad.
If you need to update your language on there, because I had a kid yesterday who could not figure out what jumping jeepers was until I said what the sigma, and he goes like, oh. I was like, it kind of scared me. I had to translate it for him.
I hate Raymond.
I know.
So bad.
Jeepers. All right. The man. Oh, I will be asking you again in a little bit if your ideas have changed about what's going to happen. Again, backside, very top,
Jumping jeepers.
jumping jeepers. Top left. You're looking on the right.
Right.
Left, which is the other right. Okay. The man, let's see if I have another picture real quick. There we go. We're going to get to that. The man leaned back, spread out his hands, palms upward, and gave a tiny, contemptuous shrug of the shoulders. Well, I do not understand. You say it lies, but you will not bet. Didn't we forget it, yes? The boy sat quite still, staring at the bathers in the pool. Then he remembered suddenly he hadn't lighted his cigarette. He put it between his lips, cupped his hands around the lighter, and flipped the wheel. The wick lighted and burned with a small, steady yellow flame, and the way he held his hands, the wind didn't get to it at all. Can I have a light too? I said. Gee, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot you didn't have one. I held out my hand for the lighter, but I stood up, and he came over to do it for me. Thank you, I said. He returned to his seat. You having a good time? I asked. Fine. It's pretty nice here. There was a silence then, and I could see, by the way, quick pause, of the 7 elements, which one is this? What's happening right now?
Major decisions.
Who's having a major decision?
The Navy got the lad.
What decision is it?
Like, do the bet or not? Or don't. Or no.
To do the bet or to back out.
Nicely done. Someone got caught in their globiness. There was a silence then, and I could see the little man had succeeded in disturbing the boy with his absurd proposal. He was sitting there very still. It was obvious that a small tension was beginning to build up inside him. Then he started shifting about in his seat and rubbing his chest and stroking the back of his neck. And finally, he placed both hands on his knees and began tapping his fingers against his kneecaps. Soon, he was tapping with one of his feet as well. So, in other words, he's doing this thing. He's like
Oh. So he's drumming?
doing like a little thinky thing as he's trying to process. Yes?
So does the old man collect like fingers? Because that's a really weird question to ask.
Maybe.
I don't disagree with you. I'm sure our story will only get less weird as it
Maybe
goes
he
along.
doesn't have a phone.
That's
and he wants a
sarcasm.
phone and he wants to chop us with his finger.
Well-
so he can
Or
have his
maybe he doesn't have
fingerprint.
that finger.
The story is
that's
from
what
like
I'm
50
thinking.
years ago, which was like before we had a lot of phones. I don't
Jeffrey
know.
Dahmer.
I don't.
Oh. What?
This is
Now,
Jeffrey
okay.
Dahmer.
Just let me check up on this bet of yours, he said at last. You say we go up to your room, and if I make this lighter light 10 times in a row, I win a Cadillac. And if it misses just once, I forfeit the little finger on my left hand. Is that right? Certainly. That is the bet. But I think you are afraid. What do we do if I lose? Do I have to like hold my finger out while you chop it off? Oh, no. That would be no good. And then you might be tempted to refuse to hold it out. No. What I should do, I should tie one of your hands to the table before we started. And then I should stand there with a knife ready to go chop the moment your lighter missed. Okay, what year is the Cadillac? Excuse? I don't understand. What year? How old is the Cadillac? Oh, how old? Yeah, it is last year. Quite new car. But I see you are not betting, man. Americans never are. Do you guys know what reverse psychology is?
Yeah.
I think
No.
so.
So reverse psych, when you try to trick someone into doing something, oh, you'd never be smart enough to be quiet for an entire class period. And so where you try to do the...
But he's also
That was
gonna
targeted.
tie
Right?
It was.
That's fine.
And so,
We're still gonna do it.
and so that's reverse psychology.
No, I'm gonna be quiet. 3, 2, 1.
That's what the old man is doing. Reverse psychology.
I want to do reverse psychology.
Oh no, Krista proved me wrong by being quiet the whole time. How will I ever... Sorry, I'm a little sassy. The boy paused for just a moment, and he glanced first at the English girl, then at me. Yeah, you know what? I'll bet you. What? Good. The little man clapped his hands together quietly once. Fine. We do it now. And you, sir? He turned to me. You would perhaps be good enough to referee? He had pale, almost colorless eyes with tiny, bright black pupils. Well, I think it's a crazy bet. I don't think I like it very much. Nor do I, said the English girl. It was the first time she'd spoken. I think it's a stupid, ridiculous bet. Are you serious about cutting off this boy's finger if he loses? Certainly I am. Also about giving him Cadillac if you win. Come now, we go up to my room. He stood up. Would you like to put on some clothes first? Because what's the kid wearing? Yeah, just want to shoot. Nah, I'll come up like this. Then he turned to me. Man, I'd consider it a favor if you'd come along, referee. All right, I'll come along, but I don't like the bet. Hey, you come too, he said to the girl. You come and watch. Because that's what every girl likes, is watching a guy get his finger cut off. This dude knows how to flirt. He has
that
riz.
is true, that he does get his finger cut off. You just said that.
I mean, or whatever could possibly happen.
Lazy.
The little man led the way back to the garden to the hotel. He was animated now and excited, and that seemed to make him bounce up ever higher than ever on his toes as he walked along. I live in Annex. You'd like to see car first? It's just here. Annex is like in the hotel, it's like the fancy outer house area. So he's going to like the richer part of the hotel where you have like your own separate buildings. He took us to where we could see the front driveway of the hotel. He stopped and pointed to a sleek, pale green Cadillac parked close by. There she is, the green one. You like? Say, man, that's a nice car. All right, now we go up and see if you can win her. We followed him into the annex and up one flight of stairs. He unlocked his door, and we all trooped into what was a large, pleasant double bedroom. There was a woman's dressing gown lying across the bottom of one of the beds. First, we have a little drink. The drinks were on a small table in the far corner, all ready to be poured, and there was ice and plenty of glasses. He began to make the drinks, but meanwhile, he'd rung the bell, and now there was a knock on the door, and a maid came in. Ah, he said, taking a wallet from his pocket and pulling out a pound note. Pound here meaning?
$1.
Yeah, because remember, where are they set?
Jamaica?
Yeah, they don't have like dollar bills. I pulled out a pound note. You will do something for me now, please? He gave the maid the pound. You keep that. Now, we're going to play a little game in here. And I want you to go off and find for me 3 things. I want some nails, I want a hammer, and I want a chopping knife. A butcher's chopping knife, which you can borrow from the kitchen. You can get that, yes? A chopping knife? The maid opened her eyes wide and clasped her hands in front of her. Do you mean like a real chopping knife? Yes, of course. Come on now, please. You can find those things surely for me. Yes, sir. I'll try, sir. Surely I'll try to get them. And out she went. When he says chopping knife, he's referring to like a butcher's knife like that, which butchers use to chop through bones of animals or, naval cadets.
I saw
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Victoria's.
The little man handed round the drinks, and we stood there and sipped them. The boy with the long, freckled face and the pointed nose, bare-bodied except for a pair of faded brown swim trunks. The English girl, a large, boned, fair-haired girl, wearing a pale blue swimsuit, watched the boy over the top of her glass all the time. The little man, with the colorless eyes, standing there in his immaculate white suit, drinking from his glass and looking at the girl in her pale blue swimsuit. I didn't know what to make of it all. I mean, the man seemed serious about the bet, and he seemed serious about the business of cutting off the finger. But what if this boy lost? We'd have to rush him to the hospital in a Cadillac he hadn't won? Well, that'd be a fine thing. It'd be a silly, unnecessary thing to do as far as I can see. Don't you think this is rather a silly bet? Nah, man, I think it's a fine bet, the boy answered. He had already downed one large drink. By the way, when they're talking about drinks, you can probably assume they mean, yeah. I think it's a stupid, ridiculous bet, the girl said. What'll happen if you lose? Nah, it won't matter. Come to think of it, I can't remember ever in my life having had any use for the little finger on my left hand. Here he is. The boy took hold of the finger. Here he is, and he hasn't ever done a thing for me yet. Why shouldn't I bet him? I think it's a fine bet. The little man smiled and picked up the shaker and refilled our glasses. Before we begin, I will present to the referee the key of the car. He produced a car key from his pocket and gave it to me. The papers, the owning papers and insurance are in the pocket of the car. Then the maid came in again. In one hand, she carried a small chopper, the kind used by butchers for chopping meat bones, and in the other, a hammer and a bag of nails. Good, you got them all. Thank you. Now, you can go. He waited until the maid had closed the door, then put the implements on one of the beds and said, "Now we prepare ourselves." "Yes?" Entered the boy. "Help me, please, with the table. We carry it out a little." It was the usual kind of hotel writing desk, just plain rectangular table, about 4 feet by 3, with a blotting pad, ink, pens, and paper. They carried it out into the room away from the wall and removed the writing things. Here's where I continue. "And now," he said, "a chair." He picked up a chair and placed it beside the table. He was very brisk and very animated, like a person organizing games at a children's party. "And now the nails. I must put in the nails." He fetched the nails, and he began to hammer them into the top of the table. We stood there, the boy, the girl, and I, holding drinks in our hands, watching the little man at work. We watched him hammer 2 nails into the table, about 6 inches apart. He didn't hammer them all the way in. He allowed a small part of each one to stick up. Then he tested them for firmness with his fingers. So, desk table thing, you put a nail in one, nail in the other, about 6 inches apart. We're going to find out, so you can put a wrist right between the two of them. Anyone would think this guy had done this before, I told myself. He never hesitates. Table, nails, hammer, kitchen chopper. He knows exactly what he needs and how to arrange it. And now, all we want is some string. He found some string. "All right, at last we are ready. Will you please to sit here at the table?" he said to the boy. The boy put his glass away and sat down. Now, you guys do realize that's incredibly distracting as I'm reading, which is why I charge kids points every time you have stuff on your desk while I'm still teaching. I will stop and give you time, but when you do it while I teach, that's all I can hear is you guys doing that. Have faith, my little pumpkins. Jeez, please. "And now, all we want is some string." He found some string. "All right, at last we are ready. Will you please sit here at the table?" he said to the boy. The boy put his glass away and sat down. "Now, place the left hand between these 2 nails. The nails are only so I can tie your hand in place." "All right, good. Now I tie your hand secure to the table like so." He wound the string around the boy's wrist, then several times around the wide part of the hand. Then he fastened it tight to the nails. He made a good job of it, and when he'd finished, there wasn't any question about the boy being able to draw his hand away, but he could move his fingers. So quick, he wraps the string around this part of the hand, and then around this part of the hand, and then ties it around the 2 strings. So we have the hand sitting right here, and he's going to have the kid put his finger out like that. And then that makes it for a nice, easy chopping if the kid were to lose. Excellent. Sorry. "Now please clench the fist except for the little finger. You must leave the little finger sticking out, lying on the table." Excellent, excellent. "Now, we are ready. With your right hand, you manipulate the lighter. But 1 moment, please." He skipped over to the bed and picked up the chopper. He came back and stood beside the table with the chopper in his hand. "We are all ready," he said. "Mr. Referee, you must say to begin." The English girl was standing there in pale blue swimsuit right behind the boy. She was just standing there, not saying anything. The boy was sitting quite still, holding the lighter in his right hand and looking at the chopper. The little man was looking at me. "Are you ready?" "Sorry. Are you ready?" I asked the boy. "Yeah, I'm ready." "And you?" I said to the little man. "Why, I'm quite ready," he said. And he lifted the chopper up in the air and held it there about 2 feet above the boy's finger, ready to chop. The boy watched it, but didn't flinch. His mouth didn't move at all. He merely raised his eyebrows and frowned. "All right, go ahead." The boy said, "Would you please count aloud the number of times I light it?" "Yeah," I said, I'll do that." With his thumb, he raised the top of the lighter. And again with the thumb, he gave the wheel a sharp flick. The flint sparked, the wick caught fire and burned with a small yellow flame. "1!" I called. He didn't blow the flame out. He closed the top of the lighter on it and waited perhaps 5 seconds before opening it again. He flicked the wheel very strongly, and once again, there was a small flame burning on the wick. 2! No one said anything. The boy kept his eyes on the lighter. The little man held the chopper up in the air, and he too watched the lighter. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Obviously, it was one of those lighters that worked. The flame gave a big spark. The wick was the right length. I watched the thumb snapping the top down onto the flame. Then a pause. Then the thumb raising the top once more. This was an all-thumb operation. The thumb did everything. I took a breath, ready to say 8. The thumb flicked the wheel. The flint sparked. The little flame appeared. 8, I said. And as I said it, the door opened. We all turned and saw a woman standing in the doorway. A small, black-haired woman, rather old, who stood there for about 2 seconds, then rushed forward, shouting, "Carlos! Carlos!" She grabbed his wrist, took the chopper from him, threw it on the bed, took hold of the little man by the lapels of his white suit, and began shaping him very vigorously, talking to him fast and loud and fiercely all the time in some Spanish-sounding language. She shook him so fast you couldn't see him anymore. He became a faint, misty, quickly moving outline, like the spokes of a turning wheel. Then she slowed down, and the little man came into view again. And she hauled him across the room and pushed him backward onto one of the beds. He sat on the edge of it, blinking his eyes and testing his head to see if it would still turn on his neck. "I am so sorry," the woman said. "I am so terribly sorry that this should happen." She spoke almost perfect English. "It is too bad. I suppose it is really my fault. For 10 minutes I leave him alone to go and have my hair washed, and I come back and he is doing this again." She looked sorry and deeply concerned. The boy was untying his hand from the table. The English girl and I just stood there and said nothing. "He is a menace! Down where we live at home, he has taken altogether 47 fingers from different people, and he has lost 11 cars. In the end, they threatened to have him put away somewhere. That's why I brought him up here." "We were only having a little bet," mumbled the little man from the bed. "I suppose he probably bet you a car." "Yeah," the boy answered, "a Cadillac." "He has no car! That is mine! And that makes it worse, that he should bet you when he has nothing to bet with. I am ashamed and very sorry about it all." She seemed an awfully nice woman. "Well, here's the key to your car." I put it down on the table. "We were only having a little bet," mumbled the man. "He hasn't anything left to bet with," the woman said. "He hasn't a thing in the world, not a thing. As a matter of fact, I myself won it all from him a long while ago. I mean, it took time. It took me a lot of time, and it was hard work, but I won it all from him in the end." She looked up at the boy and smiled, a slow, sad smile. She came over and put out a hand to take the key from the table. I can still see her hand to this day. That hand of hers had only one finger left on it and a thumb.
That's gross. I don't like that.
And that's where it ends.
That grosses me out.
Well, you probably look like that picture of him.
This one kid in kindergarten.
So, to help you at the end, who is the lady that comes in?
The mom.
No, remember, he's old.
The wife.
Now, that's usually the first guess. But if you're married to a person that's going around cutting off fingers, what can you do?
Divorce them.
Divorce them. So I don't think it's a wife.
Ex-boy.
I was gonna say ex-wife.
Family members you can't divorce, even if they're crazy, would be.
Oh, brother.
So
I
my
mean, sister.
guess is it's probably his sister.
Yeah.
Now, is this the first time he's done it?
No.
No. So it turns out he's done this a lot. So here's the thing would come in is that if you're rich, does money mean anything to you?
No.
This dude's rich, so betting for money isn't fun for him. So he wants to bet somebody for things that they don't want to give up. So what is something everybody has but doesn't want to lose?
Fingers.
So that's why I think he starts betting for the fingers. And so for him, it's the idea of doing it. Now, she can't just take his stuff. So what was the only way she could stop her brother from going into the loony bin, which she says they were going to put him away somewhere?
Bet your fingers.
then she has to win everything from him. And what's the only way to win things from him?
Begging.
And what fingers does she have left?
Thumbs.
And if you remember, he said it was an all-thumb operation because she was down to one finger and a thumb because that was all she had left to do it. By the way, where was she when she was gone?
Washing her hair.
So you think about, why was she having to have her hair done?
Because she can't do it.
Because she can't do it herself. Because she can't wash her own hair when all you have are 2 little pincher things. And so she was going out to go get her hair done instead, because apparently she said it took her a long time and a lot of effort in order to win. By the way, a couple weeks ago we did the story of the voices, and I said make sure you don't ruin it for my other classes. Same thing here. I have one more big story with a big ending next week, and if I find out you ruined this story about little pincher finger people, then I have to be mean to you next week.
And after next week, can I ruin the story for everyone else?
At the end of today, you can ruin the story all I want. At the end of next week, you're going to have to wait because that story is an even bigger story than this one.
That was so good.
But I tried to find a story that doesn't have death, might be a little on the disturbing side.
Oh, great.
I was trying to do my best to help you guys out. Other than that, tomorrow we have quiz. This will be on quiz, but I have faith in you. Like so like external conflict, which is going to be the 2 things going against each other,
The sister and the brother.
would work as one. Another one?
The
man
cadet
versus the man.
the little man.
There you go. So I think this one, and then again, there was suspense in the story. What was the suspense?
Seeing if they win or not.
There you go. And so stuff like that, I have faith in you being able to figure out in the story as far as like what the suspense would be, internal, external. This is more just one of those fun stories. I wanted you guys to have a chance to experience and stuff like that. So that's what I was going into on here.
You want us to experience?
Well, I mean, not the finger loss. I wanted you to experience an interesting story, which I hope was interesting. Take off.